If there was one thing the world was asking for, it was for one more podcast about CrossFit. Well, here we are anyways. This is the Silverback Media Podcast, where we share the stories of the everyday CrossFitter so that more people are encouraged and empowered to try it themselves. Here's your host, an everyday CrossFitter, Marco Mejia.
What is happening, Silverback Media crew? All right, we are back for episode 2. I've actually got 2 guests on the show today. So on the show, we have sisters Katy Bell and Carly Brennan. Super excited to talk to them. Both Katy and Carly have been longtime members at CrossFit North Scottsdale. That's actually where they got their start in CrossFit. So in this episode, you're going to hear a lot about their journey towards finding CrossFit, what they believed about CrossFit or had heard about CrossFit before they tried it themselves, and how their initial experiences in CrossFit actually helped reshape what they thought about it and what they thought about what health actually means to them. It's a great story. I highly encourage you to listen to it. Show Katy and Carly some love. We also do get into as well, Carly, how she got into coaching after a few years of being a member at a CrossFit gym. She is now coaching in Hawaii at CrossFit Kailua. So if you are listening and if you're in Hawaii, dropping in there, or if you live there, go check out CrossFit Kailua. If you want to work out with Katy, come check out CrossFit North Scottsdale here in Scottsdale, Arizona. That is all from me. Remember to follow the show, subscribe, go to YouTube, subscribe there, go to Instagram, subscribe there, all the different places. Share this with friends. Let's blow this thing up. But that's enough for me. Let's go talk to Katy and Carly.
What's that big arm in the picture?
Huh? What'd you say?
I was like, there's like a big arm in the picture.
A big arm in the picture? Yeah, I'm like, ooh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Hey, guys. What's up?
Okay.
All right, so this is only going to be slightly awkwardly close, but I think we'll be okay. Hi. All right, so Carly Brennan, Katy Bell. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Hi, good morning, good.
Do you look like you just worked out? Do you feel like you just worked out?
I feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a rest day, but who does that?
CrossFitters take rest days.
You're right.
Yeah, CrossFitters take rest days. All right, so we're here. All right, so you're sisters, yeah. And I think last time I asked you how far apart, how much?
We're Irish twins, so 15 months apart.
15 months apart.
She's
okay,
older.
So very close. Oh, are you really? I don't know why. I thought you were, no offense. I'm sorry, but I thought you were a big sister.
Gotta go get some more Botox.
I know,
your wife got appointments?
I know someone. I was gonna say I know someone that can help with that.
Nope.
All right, so we're here to talk about how you both got into CrossFit,
Yep.
right? Like your CrossFit story, obviously being sisters, right, and how that played together.
Yeah.
So, Carly, I know you got into CrossFit first. So
Yep.
how did that come about for you, or when did you first get into CrossFit?
So I was a long distance runner for like the longest time. Done like
nice.
several half marathons, like one full marathon under my belt, which was like really
Was
exciting.
was any of that like during like school age years, or was this all?
Well, I got into, so I did cross country in high school.
Okay.
Went into undergrad, got into like 10Ks. Grad school, I had a friend whose sister was really into like half marathons, so
Okay.
I started getting into those. Did my one full, and then I kept getting injured. I actually had a really bad fall on one of my runs. I tripped over an invisible line and rolled my ankle.
Just reached up and grabbed you.
Yeah, just like grabbed me. It was like, you mustn't run, and I just fell over.
Pesky line. Yeah.
And
So what happened with that? What was the injury?
So I tore like all the tendons, ligaments, all the things in my ankle. I had to get full reconstruction. I've already had left knee ACL full reconstruction, meniscus tear like fixed and all that stuff.
Oh my
so
goodness.
my left leg I call kind of like a bionic leg.
Nice.
But anyways, the long story short version is that I was just in kind of a fitness funk. I gained weight, wasn't fit, wasn't going to the gym regularly or doing really anything. Had Luca, and then a couple years after having him, I was like, I still was in a funk, and I was like, I need to find something. And so I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna try CrossFit. I pulled up Google Maps, living over near Chaparral Park in Old Town Scottsdale at the time.
Okay.
And I found a bunch of different gyms within the area, reached out to a bunch of them. Neil was the only one who responded, was like, come on in, like, just drop in, come to the class. Showed up, and like, I remember Ashton was like super welcoming, and she was there at that class too. I think it was at 6:30 a.m. The rest is really history. Like, I took that one class, everybody was so nice, so welcoming, kept coming back. And then I started getting stronger, faster, and just, had a whole new friend group, a whole new community. And so, I was hooked from the start.
And that's Neil and Ash at CrossFit North Scottsdale, which is where we
CrossFit
are right
North
now.
Scottsdale, and then when I took over as owners, I was like, fuck yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah.
So when was that?
That
year
was back in March 2021 is when I stepped foot in the gym.
So post-pandemic, a little bit post-pandemic.
I actually
ish,
showed
mid-pandemic.
Yeah. So I actually showed up to the gym like in a mask because I wasn't sure what the protocol was, and they're like, "You can take that off." I was like, "Thank you."
You're like,
I'm like, I really don't want to work out in this. Like, this is like ridiculous.
So you never had the CrossFit workout in a mask situation?
No, luckily I did not have to do that.
It was a different story.
I mean, I've gone through like TSA and all that stuff when masks were still required, and I remember just like sweating and having to like keep changing masks because then it creates, you're basically waterboarding yourself. And I was like having to switch them out because I'm like, I can't breathe. With the sweat.
I was living in St. Louis when the pandemic came and when things shut down and then started opening back up, already doing CrossFit, and I remember when it first opened up, especially that winter, we still had to wear masks inside. Or there was a portion of time where it was really cold outside, but you still had to wear masks inside.
Oh my God.
So it'd be as soon as the workout was done, dead sprint of everybody to get out of the gym and just rip the mask off. Like, like I gotta breathe something. It'd be like 10 degrees outside, and we're all like out there for like 10 seconds. Yeah. So that's 2021 when you started, right? And then so now you're in CrossFit joining, and then Katy to you. So now you hear that, I'm sure you hear that Carly's doing CrossFit, and so what's your reaction at that point?
So I started just like tagging along with her a couple classes. I remember our first class. I worked out a lot before, so deadlifts, squats, but taking a class was very humbled. I've known about CrossFit since like the CrossFit days of like
Lean forward a little bit so you're
Annie Doris' daughter, all like those elite. The documentary from Netflix is when I learned about CrossFit.
Okay.
And I was like, that's hardcore. Like, that's not me. I worked at a gym, like bodybuilding kind of form, so I knew how to work out. I was like, I'm kind of fit, but like, now I'll try CrossFit.
Yeah.
Humbled. Very much humbled. And then I just kind of pop in every once in a while with Carly. And then kind of over the last like year or two, I kind of got more consistent.
Yeah.
Coming into class like 3 times a week. And then after that, I was like, I really like it.
Yeah.
I love the community. I love everyone in this gym. I like it's a challenging aspect of it. And it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one thing that she hit on that I think is really important that I did not mention about like what really made CrossFit stick for me was the scalability. So when I started, like fun fact, I couldn't do a push-up. Like literally from the knee, I could do maybe one. I could not do a pull-up, did not know how to kip. I did not know to do, I mean, I couldn't do a handstand, maybe against the wall, but certainly not like a freestanding one. And so it was like the ability to just like scale everything. Like there was a scaled movement for every single thing that we do, whether it's barbell work, dumbbell work, like gymnastics, whatever it is. The fact that there was a scaling option was a huge win for me too, because and a huge like selling factor because, you know, if I can't do everything and I'm just, you know, like that's discouraging. You're not going to want to come back. But the fact that they're like, hey, these are the options, and even in the whiteboard briefing, they're like, you know, if you're not wanting to hang from the rig, here's another option. If you don't want to go too heavy, scale down the reps or scale down the weight or whatever. And there's no shaming. There's no, you know, everybody's encouraged to just be here and move. Like we're all here to like get a good workout in. Period. So whatever that looks like for each person is, you know, that's their journey.
And that's such an important point too, right? And because like, you know, you see people that they might be scared of CrossFit. One, because they see the games, right? They see the intense documentaries and they're like, oh my gosh, like that's CrossFit? And it's like, that is an expression of CrossFit.
That is
the top, right?
That's the elite, and you come in, you're like, wow, exactly. When I came in, my body wouldn't kip. Like, I remember staying on the rig, and Jen's like, kip, and I'm like, my lats don't move.
What, dude,
like,
what is it?
Don't move. I'm standing, and my brain's like, move, and my body's like, no, like, I have tight lats, and it made me over time practice and learning to hollow hold. And like grip, and like, it's a lot of little things to help you like now. And I love the scalability. You could be the last person finishing, and people will be rooting for you. I love that. So it doesn't matter if you're the first person to finish or the last person to finish.
It's genuine, genuinely encouragement though. It's not like, you know, condescending in any way. Like people are there, like you got this.
Like, even if it's 5 pounds, like it's amazing.
Well, so much of it is like a celebration of effort, right? It's like you had the confidence to walk through the door, show up, do the workout. Hi, Joe. Yeah, we're live. We're live. Hi, Joe. You want to say hi?
We can keep you in.
Hello. I actually
see ya. Bye.
Speaking of Coach Joe, I remember the first time we were learning snatches.
You can. It's your gym. It's your gym.
And he gave me a look, and I was like, they'll just give you a look, but it's an encouraging look of like, hey, like you got this, but lock it up a little bit. It's just, I love the way the coaches coach because you know, you're like, am I doing good or not doing good? Like, what's your look? And then it's just encouraging everybody, like, I really like that.
Good,
Little cues. Because the cues help. And you don't realize how much a little bit of
I will say the coaching at, like, I have dropped into like many different gyms. The coaching here, and I'm not getting paid to say this, by the way.
But
here is like superior. Like, it is so freaking good. Like, each coach is just like, they're very good about like coaching, going through the movements, like coming to each individual athlete and like saying like, hey, like do this, do that. And I mean, it's fantastic. And that is what honestly I think like accelerated my kind of progress within CrossFit.
Yeah.
Like, having started like in 2021, I think by 2022 I had, you know, so many skills, 23, 24, you know, and so on.
Yeah.
And I'm at a different gym right now, but and they're like fantastic and everything, and I'm continuing my journey there and stuff, which is really great. But I think CFNS gave me a really good kickstart into my CrossFit kind of journey. Where now it's like, you know, I can go to any gym and I feel like I've got, you know, a solid foundation.
Yeah. And I think, so to that point, right, because like you said, you've dropped into a lot of gyms where maybe that's not the case, right? And I would say, like, we are lucky to have a place like this that we can come to and that we receive that coaching and have that environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to note that, like, if someone goes to a gym and doesn't find that, like, it's not that situation, just keep trying other ones. There's good ones out there, right? You might just need to try a few, but it's like if you go and you have a bad experience at a CrossFit gym, that's not going to be your experience at every CrossFit gym, right? So like, keep trying, keep going back to it. You will find one.
So I will say, fun fact also, back in 10 or 11 maybe, or maybe a little around that area. I had a friend whose roommate did CrossFit very consistently up in like a little bit more north from here in Scottsdale. I don't think that gym exists anymore. I don't think it's existed for a while.
Okay.
Anyways, she was like, hey, come. I went to one class there, and they were doing like ab mat sit-ups, they were doing kipping pull-ups and things, and there was zero coaching. And so they're just like, yeah, you just get up on the rig, and I see everybody else doing like what I now know as butterfly pull-ups or kipping pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I was just like flailing around like a dead fish. I had no idea what to do. There was zero coaching, and then there was this like almost like kind of clicky there was no community. Like, there was no encouragement. No, they were just clicking and doing their own thing, and I was just kind of like doing my own thing, and it was a really bad experience. And so I was like, that's not for me. Yeah. So like, zoom forward. So technically, CrossFit
like a bit like a 10, and that was like a 10-year gap then before when you
solid 10 years between when I tried that and it just wasn't for me. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna see what it's like. And then when I found CrossFit North Scottsdale, it was just such a refreshing experience. I was like, damn, if I had been the first gym that I tried 10 years ago, I would probably like be like way further. I would have stayed.
Yeah.
So
is there? So obviously, like, that experience, or the initial experiences that you had here, right, or within a CrossFit gym, like, help cement that. And obviously now you're both coming to a gym consistently. Obviously, Carly, you're now coaching, which I want to get into as well, right? That transition.
Yeah.
Do you remember a moment early on where, like, it hit you? Maybe it was in the middle of a workout or after a certain workout where you're like, that was like where it clicked for you, like, this is it, like, this is the thing that I'm going to continue doing for fitness. Like, do you have anything come to mind that sticks for you?
That's such a good question. Like, the kind of like aha, like, dang, this is my thing.
Kind of
thing. I mean, crazy enough, if I'm being honest, like, the very first class and having such a good experience, that was game changing for me. So I'd say like the first like aha moment was just like coming into that very first class and feeling so comfortable and welcomed.
Yeah.
And then I would say, as I kind of progressed along that kind of CrossFit journey, I'd say as I hit different milestones. So when I was first able to, do a kipping pull-up, or do like string together a couple, or like as I was able to climb a rope. Because I remember growing up in gym class, you'd see these kids scaling the rope. That was never me. Like, I could never get like the foothold. I didn't have this, the upper arm strength, upper body strength to like. And so being able to, spider monkey it up a rope was like, I mean, that was game changing for me. Just each thing where you see somebody do it when you walk into the gym, and you're like, dang, they make that look so easy.
Yeah.
But little do we know, or do the new people know walking in, that this person has been doing this probably for weeks, months, years.
Yeah.
Has been like honing that skill. Nobody gave them that.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody gave them the muscles.
Yeah.
Nobody gave them that strength. So it's like, and that skill set. So like, it's just as I hit each skill, I knew that all the hours of classes that I put in working on skill work to ultimately get to that, actual skill, like that was the game changer for me. It's like the whole like practice makes better kind of thing.
Yeah, reinforce the process.
Seeing the fruits of like your labor, so to speak, that was game changing. And the great thing is, the reason why I'm so consistent is because I continue to see that.
Yeah.
Like, you get a muscle up, you're like, oh my god, my next thing is I want to get a ring muscle up. I've not gotten one of those yet, and they're just certain things that I want to get better at.
It's reinforcing the effort and the consistent practice.
Yeah. It's like the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. For context, like, so you mentioned kipping pull-up. That was the first one that came up, right?
Yeah.
From the time you walked in to your first class to when you first got a kipping pull-up, how long was that? So that way, like, kind of give a sense of like that amount of time and practice that it took to get to that point.
They were very ugly. I think it was around maybe 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
And when I saw the video, I have to like look back at the video, but maybe something around that time frame. So within that first year.
Nice. Yeah. Just to give an idea of like how, like, it wasn't 2 weeks you start showing up and now you got these, right? It's it took time and it takes practice and consistency.
Yeah.
Right?
And you actually have to do it. Like I would say like my number one advice for somebody starting CrossFit is to stick with it and don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Like, and to be consistent and keep working on it and actually try the movement. So, like for me, when it came to handstand push-ups, for example, I would just kind of do you go up to the wall, you do the negative, drop back down, up to the wall, or like the seated strict press, like different scaling options. But at the end of the day, at some point, you need to be like, all right, I've been doing this for several weeks, several months. Like, I got to get up on the wall and actually try that.
Give it a shot.
Same with the kipping thing. Like, you got to put your pride aside, leave your pride at the door.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you look like or if you fail it. Like, you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
And so that was the one thing. Toes to bar. Like, actually just be like, all right, I'm going to freaking go for it. Like, no more toes as high as possible.
Yeah.
Like, let's just see if they'll hit the freaking bar. And then when it happens, you're like, oh my God. Like, all this skill work is adding up, and here I am now.
And it's paying off.
Yeah.
No, that's a great way to put it. And Katie, what about for you? Like,
I've only been doing CrossFit for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I took 3 months off, but like,
consistently,
a year and a
yeah.
half. So my most humbly was honestly signing up for the Open last year on a whim. So I probably was like 2 months in and only going like 3 times a week. And I just last year was like, I'll try the Open, see how I do or not do, and see what I can work on. And that humbled me because I didn't know a lot of things about rowing. Or doing jumping pull-ups and like things and like for time. And for me, it was a skill.
Yeah.
So practicing not blowing out my back, doing the double presses. Rowing, you can stop a little early and the
Let it
little
roll.
things that I wish now I know now, but like back then, like I wish somebody had taught me during class, and then it made me like want to go consistently.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to learn any more skills if I just go 3 times a week and cherry pick the workout each week. I have to go like 5, 6 times a week, or I'm never going to get better.
That is the beauty of the
Open.
Open.
Literally clicked for me. It's like I need to go more than 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Not cherry pick the workouts that I want to work out, because then I'm never going to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
So
it's a great way to put
going now, like it's every time I go, what can I do a little bit better each week, or have a goal? Like it took me about 6 months to learn a double under, but when I got it, I'm like, okay, now I want to do 2 in a row. And like just every time I come like and do a workout, I'm like, I want 5 in a workout, or like 5 in each round.
So 2024. Yeah, 2024 was your first Open.
Yes.
So your first Open workout was the dumbbell snatch, burpee over the dumbbell.
Yeah, and that I blew up my back really hard, and they said don't go out too hot, and I went out
and you went out too hot. Yeah.
And I
was
dying, and I didn't realize like you don't go out too hot. Like a lot of things they tell you, like. But you mentally, like I'm a competitor in my head, so I want to do the best I can. But then you realize you got to humble yourself a little bit, especially being the first one. Like I should have known better. Like slow down, slow is like
it's what
slow is smooth as fast. And now in my head, I'm like slow is smooth and smooth as fast.
To quote Coach Jen,
yes,
slow
every
smooth,
time,
smooth as fast. And for that example, that perfect example, Friday Night Lights, I went out too hot and I got like whatever time. When I redid it in the morning, first of all, I'm more of a morning like whatever fitness.
So already,
it shifted
up your routine.
I slowed it down.
Yeah.
And I knocked off I think 3 or 4 minutes off my time for that one. So that was like a solid, like that Open event was like one of my best ones.
Oh really?
For like percentile wise. But I slowed down. So it was like one of the things where I was like,
you don't realize coaches when they tell you
like
you need to do it.
Yeah.
It actually clicks with you.
I was like, wait, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. You're like, wow, interesting.
I'm paying for their expertise. Maybe I should listen.
You're not going to get injured. You're going to do well. You're going to actually do better than you think you were, slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that workout specifically, so this shirt that I'm wearing actually, and I'm trying to get him on the podcast as well. It's one of my close friends from back in St. Louis, Dan Adler. So he was one of the other coaches at the gym where I was, and we did Friday Night Lights, and we hyped this thing up where it was just me and him one-on-one.
Oh.
and
nice.
the adrenaline hype up for that, and like doing our best to not go out too hot, but of course we did. And I had to get an IV afterwards. Like I was nearly I was close to going to the emergency room.
God.
Yeah. Thankfully there were a bunch of nurses, my wife included, that were at the gym, and so they there are pictures of me with like blankets on me, ice packs. One of our coaches was feeding me gummy worms. It was just over 10 minutes. So it would have been one of those where if I would have retried it and just slowed down and calmed down, like I probably would have done it a lot faster.
Yeah.
But after nearly putting myself, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to that place
again. The fact that it was all one arm first and the second, like that's what was just like.
It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
So, it was rude.
So that is definitely one of those. So that was definitely one of those experiences where it's like, okay, but that's the beauty of the open, right? And like having those experiences, coming out the other side of it and being like, okay, like that was really, really uncomfortable, but I did it, and now I learned something that I can apply to the next one.
And it was my first one. I still new to CrossFit, didn't know what I was doing, but like, you know what? I still like the fact that I put the effort in.
Yeah.
Everyone was really awesome, encouraging. You're like, well, maybe next year I'll do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Know what I know now and work on those skills. And I feel like I've accelerated a lot since then. I mean, I still can't do a toes bar, but we're getting toes as high as possible.
Yeah, there we go.
Again, it's a little skills here and there.
That you're like picking up
One day
along the way.
your toes will hit and you'll be like, no.
Like, holy crap, look at that, I did it.
I just got wall walks, like a couple months ago to finally be able to. I mean, it goes downhill a little quick during the
but it's still,
workout,
but it's still there. It's still there.
A
wall walk's a wall walk, and you did it, and you put in the work, you did the practice, and
I
it
remember
worked.
just being able to do halfway, and that was hard.
Yeah. And so now, obviously, you both are like members at a CrossFit gym consistently. Obviously, Carly, you're living in Hawaii now, coaching. How helpful was it for you both having your sister also going to the gym? So you guys could, I'm assuming you tried to work out together as often as you could, right? Was that helpful? Like, how was that helpful? I'm assuming it was.
It's just fun. Like we like she and I are like very, very close. Like, and so we just like, it's fun like carpooling together. Like, it's just fun just being like present together. Like the vibes are good and everything. And so, I mean, having somebody that's like your family, your sister there is like, just, I mean, I think it also helps with like consistency.
Yeah.
And we hype each other up regardless that we're on two different levels. Like she's still, even for me, like a PR for me is like heavy, but for her might be a warm up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still awesome. Like we just support each other in every way possible.
Awesome.
And that's what's great about it is we bond very thick. So.
Is there like a friendly trash talking component there? Do you
always. In and out of the gym.
Yeah.
It don't stop when we walk in.
We look at a workout, I'm like, this is not my workout today, but absolutely not. Like the rowing workout today, I'm like, I will be at the bottom of the totem pole, and I'm okay with it.
On the drive here, I was like, both of our like rowing seats are gonna be like, eat. And then for what? Yeah. I have like normal sized people on each side of me, and I'm like, how does it feel to be God's favorite?
Yeah, ask them when it's like when it's a burpee workout. When it's a burpee workout, and
then I'm like, that's my jam.
Yeah, you're like, I got it now.
Yeah, just throw myself on the ground and get back up.
Yeah. So now, Carly, now you're coaching.
Yeah.
Right. So when did you start coaching?
Maybe a couple months ago.
A couple months ago, okay.
1 or 2 months ago, so very recently. Yeah.
What was the, had you thought about coaching before? Or what was the thought when you initially were like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah. So I moved out to Hawaii, Oahu, about a year ago. So June of 2024.
Okay. And what gym are you at now?
I'm at CrossFit Kailua.
CrossFit Kailua.
Over in Kailua, yeah.
Awesome. Tell you.
It's awesome. I love it. Like just really great community, really great people, awesome coaches, everything. So it just clicked. It was one of those ones where I went and I was like, this is awesome. I had dropped into them actually the summer before, so 2023.
Okay.
And got to know some people for like a couple weeks that I was there. Anyway, so zoom forward / from here back to 2024. When I got there, Coach Rachel, who also owns the gym, was just like kind of like, hey, would you want to coach? And I was just like flattered, first of all. I was like super flattered. I was like,
me?
Me? And I was just like, I don't know, I hadn't thought about it. And she kind of planted the seed. And then a few months later, I think it was like the fall, she asked again. I was just like, I don't know, what do you think about it? I looked at the OL1, the online level 1, and I was like, I'm just going to be honest with myself. I'm not going to be sitting on my computer. Like, I'm not going to be able to pay attention. So,
yeah, right.
And then a few months later, so zoom forward to like winter, springish of this year, she was just like, hey, just wondering. And so I happened to look online to see, and there was an L1 in Honolulu.
Oh, nice.
Like coming up in a few weeks, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Time.
So so I did the level 1 in person.
How was that experience?
Oh my gosh, it was, honestly, after doing the level 1 in person, I'm going to be completely honest, like, I don't know how anybody can actually do the OL1 and get the same benefits, the same kind of education.
OL1 being the online.
Online level 1, yeah. And so I would highly recommend anybody who wants to get to L1, look for an in-person one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, the benefits of having somebody there helping you to become a better coach and better athlete are just, like, somebody in person versus online, it's just never going to be comparable.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, like, downplay. I mean, I'm sure the online level 1 is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you've got experience already in coaching, or maybe
if
you've
you're
been doing
renewing
CrossFit
or
for a long
something.
time. But yeah, so then I got my level 1, and then I found out a little bit after that, like a week or two after that, I saw that there was the Berkner Strength level 1 class coming into town as well.
Yeah.
And so
which has weightlifting focus.
Yes, Olympic lifting specifically. So they do clean and jerks and then snatch, and it's really a focus on squat snatches. So what we call squat snatches, but it's not snatch. And so I put feelers out there. Long story short on that, there were already people from my gym going, like CrossFit Kailua, who were going to go, and I was like, let's do it. And so, like, group of us went and had an awesome time. That was the most, I think the most educational, most, like, just the best class when it comes to fundamentals around Olympic lifting. It was just, like, game-changing for me. So then, within a month, basically, I got my L1, CF CrossFit level 1, my Berkner Strength level 1, and those two things helped me kind of build a really good coaching foundation. Went through a whole onboarding process at CrossFit Kailua, and then rest is history. Coaching, and it's just like a lot of fun. So what the long story short version of what got me into it was planting a little seed, getting my L1 and my Berkner Strength level 1, and then just starting to coach, and it's been a really natural, I feel like, progression.
Yeah.
Like, I already know a lot of people at the gym, and so it was really easy for me to kind of flip to coach mode, and people were, like, very respectful and supportive,
That's
and, like,
awesome.
congratulating me and stuff. So it was really good. Like, I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Have you taken a class at Crows Coach?
I went to Hawaii to visit, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Came back.
Was that your first one of hers?
She's
How
awesome.
was that? Yeah.
It's like,
Be honest.
it was great. No, she's great. It was a small class, so it was nice. And it's like as if you're coming in here and, like, you're coaching, for instance.
Yeah.
She just comes in, she's very natural. She gives the great cues, and then goes from there.
Does she have a coach voice? Like when you first heard her talking at the whiteboard, were you like, "Hey, wait a second, that doesn't sound like my sister"?
No, she's just her.
Okay, all right, good, yeah.
You see what you get what you see.
Yeah.
Like, it's there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice. And so what has been like the most rewarding piece of coaching?
I will say, hands down, when you see not only like in somebody's like eyes and kind of like their mind something click, but then you see them actually do a movement. So for example, there was a class that I had coached where there were double unders. And so watching somebody who never got a double under ever before string together one or two was just like, and then them going like, oh my God, I've never done that. Like that is the most rewarding thing, is like is the actual coaching that you provide, like actually like athletes making progress with those cues, with whatever that movement is. So
and double under is a great example. I mean, Katy, you mentioned that too, right? Like when you first got them too, so you know that feeling. I mean, obviously you both. Yeah, when you're like,
and I just like stopped. And I remember it was Rocky coaching. She's like, was that a double under? Like, I think it was.
Oh, Rocky was the one who got me my double unders too.
Oh, really?
Fun fact.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rocky helped me out during
Coach
the
Rocky.
Open this year. Coach Rocky, shout out. She lent me her rope for the Open this year too, which helped me get double unders.
But
no, it's a good. Well,
I was gonna say I was probably short for you.
My rope situation has been a disaster for a while, so I used Rocky. Yeah, I know. I threw it in the trash. So we're currently looking for a new rope.
Yes.
So if anybody has suggestions,
Single looking for dubs.
Huh? Yeah. Right. And then so just on that example, right? So like when you first got those double unders, how long ago was that? Was that
5 months ago?
5 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that impact the rest of your day? Do you remember?
I was super excited during the workout. I was like, this is great. At least I don't know what it is, but whatever she said, it clicked. And then I just kept practicing, and then I'm like, hey, well, if I can get one, my goal is, again, always like just get at least one or two, and then after that we'll just work and figure out the technique. And I realized her thing was like, my hands are like, they are distant cousins.
Oh yeah, they just keep going out,
one
out.
Goes and one just doesn't move, and she's like, so she actually filmed me, and she's like, your left just doesn't really move,
Yeah.
but your right goes. So I forgot what she said, but she said something like maybe put your right in or something, and then it just clicked, and then.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Sometimes
Or
it's
just
just
like
a single cue.
jump a little higher.
Yeah.
And like
Give yourself some room.
Yeah. And then it just clicked. Versus the finger taps.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, well, I got one more question for both of you, okay? So, Carly, I want you to think back to the version of you in, 2010, 2011, tried that other CrossFit gym, had a rough experience, right? Katy, I want you to think of, the version of you that was watching the games documentary on Netflix, thinking like, holy crap, what is that? If you could go back to that version of yourself and give that version of yourself one tip of like, hey, here's why you should try CrossFit. Like now looking back on all of the experiences you've had, all the positive things, what would you say to that version of you that would help them, help give them that positive bump to actually go try it?
That's such a good question. I'm going to be honest. So for me, I'm going to give a little bit of backstory and then I'll answer the question because I think it's important.
Yeah.
So back then when I was really like avid runner, running distance, I was really obsessed with MyFitnessPal, like counting calories, doing calorie deficits. Like I'm embarrassed to admit, like eating maybe 12 to 1,400 calories a day, and just really like watching my figure, trying to stay skinny, trying to stay slim. And my advice would be, that's not healthy. You need to do something that includes heavy lifting, like within reason. Obviously, you're not trying to get injured, and I think that's one of the biggest things that misconceptions that people have about CrossFit is that we're all lifting way too heavy and we're going to get injured and this and that, and that's not true. You can get injured doing anything. Case in point, running outside.
Right.
No weighted vest to be found.
That imaginary
Tripping
line,
over
just
my own feet, some zombie grabbed my foot. But yeah, so like it doesn't matter. You can like people get injured like walking in the snow and like doing stupid shit, like bending over weird, sleeping on a pillow weird. Like, but anyway, so like, but I was stuck in this funk of like counting calories and like trying to stay skinny and this and that. And now, if I'm being completely honest with you, like, I mean, yes, I don't eat like an asshole, but and I definitely think about the different things that I consume. Sure. But I also let myself go out and get like delicious Mexican food and margaritas and beers and Bloody Marys. I eat all the things and I can consume all the things, and I'm able to do that because I'm doing CrossFit now, which has built muscle. I've leaned out because of it. And once you're stronger and you've got more muscle, you're naturally burning calories just by surviving, just by living, Yeah. And so my advice would be like, it's actually healthier to eat more, fuel your body, eat more calories. Like, it's not the calories that you're putting in, it's the macros. It's like what you're putting in, the protein, the fats, the carbs and everything. Yeah. And like, if you want to actually be healthy, which is what I thought I was doing, I would have given myself more tips about like educating myself on diet, and how to balance that with exercise in a more healthy and like productive way. Yeah. And so that would be like my number one thing is just like, man, like if you want to be able to like be happy and not stress about your calories and everything, do this. This is going to make you strong and fast. You're going to you're going to be happy with your body, but you're also going to be able to consume the things that you want to, enjoy life, and not be so stressed out about like these little things.
Well, to piggyback on the level 1 piece, what's the base of the pyramid?
The base of the pyramid?
The base of the pyramid?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Carly, it's nutrition.
It's nutrition. Wait, ask me again and edit that out. Okay, go.
All right. Take two. Rewind. All right. So level 1 question: what's the base? Nutrition.
The base of the pyramid when you learn your level.
Okay, wait. No. She said a bad word.
Nutrition with an emphasis on spicy pickles.
You two. See, I thought it was done. And then the other day, you just had to tag me in a freaking pickle thing.
How does he pickles? And I was like, wait.
You want to know what's better?
You didn't know that?
You want to know what's better than pickles? The pickle juice.
Gross. So this.
You even did the Martha hates pickles train. I'm like we're gonna take a picture and tag you.
So when it was in the middle of the whole, like there was a run there where everybody was jumping on the train, right? My parents were like, "What's this pickle situation?" I'm like, "I hate pickles." Like whatever, right? We can move past that. You can have your opinions on it, but that's how I feel about it, and I'm right. So I was telling them kind of the story and how much I don't like pickles. And then my mom's like, yeah, I hate pickles too. And my dad was like, what are you talking about? I drink the pickle juice. And I'm like, this is where I get it from. It's genetic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so pickles aside, because we've already talked way too much about them. So,
Nutrition.
Carly, thank you. Yeah, nutrition. First off, thank you for sharing that backstory. That actually, to your point, right? Like that is really helpful. So, Katy, okay, so now you've had some time to think, and you've also heard Carly's answer.
I honestly wish I had started CrossFit a long time ago.
Okay.
Just even after watching the documentary and realizing they're elite athletes and realizing now you can scale, I would have started a long time ago. I enjoy the workouts, and I feel like I'm probably a little more fit now. But I mean, I don't feel like I'm out of shape, but I feel like all the skills that I could be learning, I probably could have learned like years ago.
Yeah.
But again, we're constantly moving forward,
Yeah.
and I am so glad that I'm here and I joined, and I love everybody. And I think everybody pushes you a little bit more in each class to get better.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Your advice would be to go because there's
Just
scaling
go.
options.
Yeah, just go. Just try it. Like if anything, don't be afraid of failing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of. I started on the beginner bar with the 15-pound bar, and then worked my way up to the 35-pound bar.
Yeah.
And I went from there, and now I'm like, okay, I'm not perfect, obviously. I'm a scaled athlete for life. But
Skilled for life.
Skilled for life. No, every once in a while there's an RX workout that I'm like, yes, I'm capable of doing it, and I'm willing to push out of my comfort zone. And that's the great thing, is just pushing yourself a little out of your comfort zone each time. Makes you better.
Yeah.
Makes you a better athlete.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, both of you.
Yeah.
And that's like that's where it's like, you know, it's finding those moments to give yourself that extra little boost, because then that radiates throughout the rest of your day, right? It's like, oh, you start to realize that you're more capable of than what you thought you were, right?
That's
Which,
exactly it.
as much as that's obvious, I mean, yes, that's helpful in here, but like I kind of think of it as like, none of us are going to be professional athletes, right? As much as I would like to be, but that's not going to happen, right?
I'll ass off, but I'm not going to go to the games.
I'm not going to the games. Like I remember the first time I got it's like the first time I got a bar muscle up. I'm like, okay, that was cool, but like nobody's. You know, nothing's going to happen because I got one bar muscle.
Yeah.
But what is going to happen is that I'm going to take the attitude of, holy crap, I didn't think I could do that. I put in the work and now I did it. And that's going to impact, you know, work, family life, everything outside when you walk out of the gym. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any parting words? Final thoughts? Don't talk about pickles.
Oh, I was going to say.
You were like, damn it, I was going to talk.
No. Parting words would be, if anybody is watching / listening to this episode, and they were on the fence about trying CrossFit, hopefully we've said some things to convince them, you know, to try it.
Yeah.
To just come in for a class or two, give it a week, even because programming day to day is so different.
Yeah.
So if you drop in on a day where we're doing snatches, I would want to leave too. I would not want you to come back. But give it a solid, like, you know, a week or two. Try some stuff, you know, try different classes. Maybe the vibe of one class isn't quite what you're looking for, but the vibe of another class is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, give yourself a chance to, you know, try CrossFit to see if this is for you. And if it is, it's going to be a lifelong, like, gift that keeps giving, because, you know, everybody hears about as you get older, you know, your muscle, like, if you don't build muscle as fast, you actually lose muscle faster. And so it's like right now, I feel like I'm building a foundation for when I get older, so that I can still get up off the ground and not fall over. So if I fall, my bones are strong enough, or they're not going to break because of a minor fall or anything like that. So you're establishing, like, you know, a body for your future. And so it's just, you know, my closing words were like, just give it a try. Just do it. Make it happen.
It's for all ages and all levels of fitness.
This is your overhead position, right?
Elbows out.
Yeah. Katy, any final words, final thoughts?
I'll say all ages, all fitness levels. A scaled workout is still a workout. At the end of the day, you're still working just as hard as an RX person. Just as hard. Like today's workout, sweating just as hard as the next person. So you're still putting in the work, regardless of what weight it is. You're still breathing hard, working hard, sweating hard. And everyone's getting knuckles at the end of the day for putting in the work.
To put that context, right? You both just did a workout that had two games athletes, right? Previous games athletes in class.
I beat them. In my dreams.
You want to look at the camera and tell them, hey, I don't know which one you beat, so you tell them.
Listen, Saxon Panchik, I just want to let you know that I did not beat you. I was just kidding. I had jokes sometimes.
And Will, I don't know how long it took you to do wall works, but I was only on my first one by the time you finished your third.
So
got you.
There we go. But yeah, I think that goes to the point, right? It's like, could have games athletes. You can have you guys.
We're all working the
you know,
same moves,
everybody's
same
doing
minutes.
the same workout. Everybody does it in the way that's most beneficial to them where they are. And you have a great workout. You have a great workout. You high five everybody. Say, hey, that was awesome. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
We finished with the wave.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Right. Carly, Katy, thank you both so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
All right,
having
you
us.
are guests 2 and 3, or 2 and 3, whichever way. 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. 2 and 3.
2.5.
Well, Carly, Katy.
And I just like to point out, I am the shortest in the gym, but still the baddest.
That's what I'm talking about. There we go. All right, awesome.
Hell yeah.
2 and 3 down, 10,000 to go. Preach. See ya.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing with a friend. To get notified of future episodes, please follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you can continue to hear these stories. For more behind-the-scenes content of everyday CrossFitters, follow on YouTube and Instagram at Silverback Media. Until next time, this has been the Silverback Media Podcast.